Today in Vatican City, they're holding a celebration of the birth of the Roman Catholic Sun-Child. The first thing I find interesting is that they've actually placed the depiction directly underneath the Star of Ishtar, the Eastern Star of the mystery religions. If that isn't blatant enough, you can see that the star is being propped up by an Egyptian obelisk. So straight off you can see that this is a counterfeit copy, a mirror of the real thing. Then of course you've got this giant Kabbalistic tree, and also accompanied by other ancient symbology that should make it absolutely clear that this represents the birth of the sun god of the Babylonian mystery schools. The feast of the Immaculate Conception that took place just a day before this festival is simply a code for the birth of the Antichrist, or the ripping of the dimensional veil.
And I saw a star fallen from heaven to earth, and he was given the key to the shaft of the bottomless pit. He opened the shaft of the bottomless pit, and from the shaft rose smoke like the smoke of a great furnace.
Contessa Lene Thunonlus, è per me un onore. È dal 1982 che San Giovanni Paolo II, permettetemi di congratulare a nome di tutti,
alla città del Vaticano e ai fedeli di tutto il mondo, questo grande albero dei nostri amici di Malta. Questo albero proviene dai boschi di una delle tante valli del Trentino.
So here I am back in Vatican City. It's about 11 o'clock at night. So I decided to come back and investigate some more of this symbology. And the point of making these videos is really to warn Catholics, which I want to do more, you know, because there are real Christians in the Catholic Church who are deceived. And this is maybe one of the ways that can help break the brainwashing. The fact that there is hidden agendas going on. And it's not worth getting too deep into that, because it's not deep. This is the things of this world, and the things of the enemy are not the deep things. The truly deep things are what it's copying. The truly deep things are the things of God. And why do you think they keep constantly mirroring and copying and inverting these things to? Because it's a religion that is actually at its very heart with the Jesuit conspiracies at the top levels and secret societies. They're trying to break the veil and bring through the Antichrist, like we see in the book of Revelation. It's code for Revelation 9, the Immaculate Conception. Don't forget, when you look at this from above, we're actually in this cradle right now. This circular shape is like a cradle. So don't you think it's ironic that they have the birth of the false Christ in the middle of this cradle of filth, cup of filth, you know, abominations, the things that are exposed about this area. Cradle of filth, think about it. And this whole thing here that I'm standing on is a clock, the sundial. So this is a representation of time, cracking through time, through the veil of time and space. So we're in the middle of a sundial, and we've got the birth of the Antichrist cracking through time. What does that tell you? It's that false Hegelian battle of light and dark that they use. Lucifer defeating the dragon. And it's all a counterfeit of the real Christ. They're just copying and mirroring and using this as a masquerade. So as I was saying, there's always two sides of the same coin, and there's a hidden side and a side that's in view, esoteric and exoteric. So the public are told that this is about Malta and a vicar going to Malta. But I ask you, you see the big Maltese cross, which is essentially the Jesuits and the Knights of Malta and all that. But my question to you, as we know that there's some hidden sides to this, do you think that this is representing the disclosure, the Black Pope, the Vicar of Christ, heralding the birth of Nimrod, the Antichrist? And remember, the obelisk represents an antennae, so harvesting energy for the conjuring up of this. And you know, this has been the ultimate goal all through these many centuries and centuries since Babylon. The ultimate goal has been to do this, piercing the firmament, the Tower of Babel. We shall be like God. This is the ultimate goal of the mystery schools. So what you're seeing here is a masquerade as Christianity. And that obelisk represents the phallic with the circumcision of ancient Egypt the false circumcision, the synagogue of Satan. Technically those who say they are Christians but do lie. Because this is all part of the ancient mystery schools of Babylon. It goes back to Babylon and Egypt. What does the Bible tell us about those? I'm sorry to say, but there's really nothing else to it. This whole place is a giant keyhole. Freemasonry, Illuminati, Enlightenment, all of that. Essentially Gnostic religion, which is, and Babylon, which is clearly against God, clearly against Christ, Antichrist. This is the fundamental truth to what all of this is representing and leading towards. And I just ask you, you know, if you truly love God, get out of it while you can, because there is massive deception coming.
Because we don't celebrate the ancient pagan festival of Saturnalia.
The ancient religion of Babylon, they all have one thing in common: the sacred feminine. The sacred feminine. The sacred feminine. Ishtar the Babylonians, Tyre the Buddhism, Fatima of Muhammad, Sophia the Gnostics, Shekinah to the Kabbalist Jew, Mary to the Catholic, and Shakti to the Hindu. These all have one thing in common: the sacred feminine. And the sacred feminine is going to take you back to the source of light, because the light that resides in that place that Plato talked about, you need a path to get back to that light. Listen, this is important. She is the one to take you to that light. Now I'm gonna give you a guess. Tell me this morning, who do you think that light is? You remember what this subject's all about? Lucifer. He's the light bearer. take you to that light.
Look there, we've got the same kind of symbology on a Catholic basilica, which is kind of ironic. I'm here today at Washington DC with this big shrine to the Catholic Church here of the Immaculate Conception to have a deeper look at what it's all about. What an eerie place. So let's go down into the belly, the underworld, where masses take place, into the heart, underneath this, the tomb of this huge temple. I mean, we're underground right now. This is underground, this isn't the belly, underneath the big temple. So much symbology in here. The National Shrine of Immaculate Conception. The birth pangs of the New Age, of abominations, ecumenical, one world under Rome. It's like an expensive hotel. Those 5-star ones in Vegas. I mean, if that is not revering the Mother. Europa. And look at him, I mean, he's bowing. I've heard so many say they don't revere Mary in that way, the false Mary, but he's bowing to this Ishtar, Isis figure, coming out of the feminine gate, the female birthing womb. I'm sure I don't really need to say too much, it's already pretty obvious what that represents. Well, and there's that hexagon again. This same symbolism, just like the Star of David. The hexagon like we saw in the other place. The hexagon with mother and child coming through. And like the reference to the black sun. So Saturn, just like the NASA have recently shown with the hexagon on Saturn and all that.
And look, the heart, connection to the heart of the earth. Heart of Mary, pray for us. So often I think it's like that birthing of that Tammuz, Nimrod, Antichrist figure from the heart of the earth, which they call Gaia, like the mother goddess Gaia. So I wonder if it's a reference to that. Definitely Ishtar, Babylonian, false religion, and this is their belief system I'm speaking about here. And the references to Saturn, six-sided shape, the Antichrist, the birth of the Antichrist, a copy of the truth, of the true Messiah, but this is the inverted, the false one. So there's always parallels and mirrors to the real truth. It's just that this goes back to Egypt, Babylon, and there's always been usurping authority, as I said, usurping authority from the real legitimate Messiah, the real legitimate truth that we can read in the New Testament. This is how they are doing it, and always have done it. This is the plan all along. The fallen plan, the kingdom of darkness, our enemy, to usurp and trick and mirror and copy, to mislead people. Look, pillars and archways, all the same designs as the other places, and she's sitting on a foundation stone there, behind these pillars where the veil would be, like in the Holy of Holies again, same representation, the Mother Goddess, Semiramis, Diana and Child, the false Mary. Oh my goodness. And once again, you see IXXI, which is Roman numerals for 9/11, on the cup. The Frankists and other secret societies, there is this belief that they need to fill up this cup of sin, make people turn to bad, which you can see happening, in order to provoke their Christ to come, which they think is the real Christ. But that's their belief. They believe they need to fill up this cup of filth, this cup of abomination, as we're told about in the Bible, that will happen. The cup of abominations that will bring judgment upon the world. But they believe that they're going to get this Christ is going to come. But we know it's the Antichrist. It's Nimrod from the days of the Tower of Babel. And this cup of abominations. Mate! You know, even I've heard Catholics say that this Pope is very different from any other. The way he's uniting religions and one world, ecumenical, new world order. You know, the Jezebel spirit usurps authority where it has none. I was thinking about this the other day. The Jezebel spirit usurps authority where it has none. And this is kind of the way this new ecumenical religion, Babylonian New Age religion is working. Usurping authority over where it has none. You know, it's pretty interesting. Usurping authority over the man, over Jesus, the true king. The Queen, usurping illegitimate authority.
She is the one to take you to that light. Who do you think that light is? Lucifer.
Please do not tell me this is not an ornate temple of Diana, the mother goddess. Sorry. I don't think that went down too well. But look, the celebration of fertility. The birth of Tammuz.
Whether you call her this, or you call her that, or you call her this, or you call her that, she's the same wherever you go. She is the Mother of God. She's the universal life force. Satan is very good at accommodating whatever culture, whatever age, whatever clime you happen to be in. Making a difference to him. He's very good at accommodating it. What I simply mean by that is he'll make you feel comfortable wherever you live in accepting his religion.
You say you were going to take a record?
See, look, even here it's saying to receive the scroll and to break open its seals. Oh my goodness, I didn't even realise this was here. I used this picture in a video the other day. That is Apollyon the Destroyer. Mars, the Roman god of war. And we've got that same representation of the Holy of Holies type thing, and him raising out of it Apollyon the Destroyer, the Antichrist. That is not Jesus. I don't think it takes much to work out that that's not Jesus.
Our coverage this morning of Pope Francis in America with Nora at the White House. Nora?
Thank you, Gail. You know, Pope Francis is also going to celebrate his first Mass in the United States, and that is at the Basilica of the National Shrine of the Immaculate Conception. Now, he is the third Pope to visit the Basilica that is on the Catholic University of America campus. And Chip Reed is there to show us what to expect this afternoon. Chip, good morning.
Well, good morning. You know, around here, most people simply call it the Shrine, and it is a beautiful building. It is the largest Roman Catholic church in America. In fact, they're expecting about 25,000 people here this afternoon to see and hear the Pope celebrate Mass.
guys know who have subscribed to this channel, I found what can only be described as reptilian symbolism right at the heart of the Vatican, in the Pope's audience hall. So I thought I needed to dig a little deeper as to what this actually means and how to decipher the actual symbolism. So stay tuned as the Outer Dark brings you 5 symbolisms of the reptilian Vatican hall. Number 5. First, some context. Yesterday I found a giant serpentine monument in the Pope's audience hall, namely in Pope IV's audience hall, or so it's named. The audience hall itself is made of reinforced concrete by an architect that was known for building bunker-like public structures, indeed monuments, out of concrete. It was built in 1977, so it's really old. In fact, it's been around there for a long time. But my first lead that something was strange was this window, and I said, that looks like an eye. It looks like a serpent's eye. So I dug a little deeper, and when I saw the audience hall from the back, where the back audience was seated, it really did take my breath away, since what was revealed was this right here. That is a giant, massive reptilian face shaped into the direct architecture. Everything from the slits in the eyes to the scales to the fangs, there was no mistake about it. But what's behind this hinted symbolism, and what can we see or glean if we dig deeper? Well, number 4, look at where the Pope is seated. We see him here from the back of the hall, that he's in fact seated in the mouth of the serpent or reptilian. In the very mouth. This is symbolic of the Pope being the voice of the serpent, in fact speaking the serpent's words to the audience. This might well shake your faith, that is if you're a Catholic, which I was. I actually went to Catholic school myself and was an altar boy. But here you can see it in plain view. Clear symbolism, clear evidence that something here is extremely wrong. This image hasn't been photoshopped. This is real. This is built right into the architecture that was designed by those within the Pope's inner sanctum. But there is more symbolism. For this though, we have to go outside. Number 3. Do you see anything strange here? You're looking at the hall itself. Do you see anything weird? Well, if you look carefully, it looks like the head of a giant snake. Can you see it now? In fact, it's almost unmistakable. You can see the snake's muzzle at the front and you can see its eye. It just looks like a snake. To me, this is yet more connective symbolism that what's going on inside matches the outside. Because since here we can see serpentine architecture with ease. Number 2, let's head back inside and look at what the Pope himself sees. If the Pope is seated where he is, what does he see? Well, he sees a giant serpent with eyes once again. The audience is symbolic of almost the serpent's meal, and the Pope is not preaching to the audience under this symbolism, but the giant god-like reptilian creature himself. Why? Because this is what the Pope sees. Can you imagine that when they were designing this, that they designed this all by mistake? That this is some kind of high anomaly? No, because they spent literally years on the designs. They definitely would have known what the Pope would have seen from where he was actually speaking. Also what the audience was seeing. So this is very strange and it raises some serious questions. What is going on in the hall? Number 1. But the biggest clue, the biggest symbolism that tells us something is really wrong here is in fact what is missing from the hall, not what is inside it. Do you know what that is? Here is a clue. Now, think of the heart of Christianity and think of what symbol it has and think of what you do not see in this hall. You do not see any of it. That's right. There is no Christian cross. There is no cross in the entire building, at least no large statue, wall hanging, or anything. There's no other real Christian symbolism either. There's no Virgin Mary, there's no Joseph the carpenter. There is indeed nothing anywhere. All of these symbols are missing. But you might say, what about that 10-ton bronze statue that's seated behind the Pope, where, as the Vatican states, Christ is being resurrected from a nuclear apocalypse or a nuclear bomb? To which I would say, this, I believe, is a direct corruption of symbolism. That is, they've taken the former Catholic symbolism symbolism of Jesus Christ, and they've displayed it in a corrupted manner, therefore corrupting its meaning. This is just not the way that you display Jesus Christ in any kind of Christianic religious order. You don't display Jesus Christ with massive wings on his back, rising up from an atomic apocalypse. You just don't do this. Look at representations of Christ from the past, just to compare. Take a look. Now you can see that there's just a huge vast difference here. Something is profoundly wrong. I mean, this statue, which weighs 10 tons, just looks like some massive thing, like a boss from some video game or something from some horror movie. You just don't display Christ like this. And also note in this, Christ appears to have massive wings on his back. Half of his face also looks like it's missing, like he's been heavily damaged by the blast. Is this really how you display Jesus Christ? Ask yourself that. You don't even have to be religious. Just look at history and compare. So what is happening? Well, I don't know, but I'm going to continue to dig. You can be assured of that. But I think that this is significant and something really big has been revealed here. Something was found at the end of this trail of breadcrumbs, which started at a small pizza shop a month ago and led us all the way to the Vatican. Anyway, go out there and decide for yourselves. I don't want to tell anyone what to believe. At the end of the day, you have to judge for yourself. It's really the only way to always stay objective and find the answers. In the meantime, please give the video a like if you did like it. That would help me out a great deal. And let me know and others what you think in the comments section. Share any leads you have. I think right now at a time like this, it's important to stay informed and crowdsource our ideas. In the meantime, this is Ed from the Outer Dark, and until next time guys, I'll see you later.